What's good? It's Nori Nori. I'm excited to be here. I'm a board member of the Media Rhythm Institute and also just a fan of Mad Skillz. We have a screening that is coming up. It's going to be at the studios on March the 1st from 6 until 9. We want you to come out and join us because Mad Skillz is going to be in the building. It's CIAA weekend. It's all the things, Baltimore. The experience is going to be incredible. And so I want to get into so much. You are such a layered man. And I have been a fan of the wrap up and your music, 7 albums in. You're always so authentic. You're a professor. I mean, you appearing on stage at the BET Awards, giving us the message. It's the way that you tell stories that just light up the culture. And so I am over the moon to have you. How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome, man. I'm such a beautiful intro. I am good, man. February is here, Black History Month, and we got the new year up and running. So, looking forward to 2024 and all that it has to offer. You know what I mean?
You know, you are one of those people that I feel like you've experienced so many layers of hip hop. You've been present in the room, in the
Mhm.
building. Your catalog of music, your writing, I mean, anything that a creative can think of, I think when it comes to the culture and hip hop, like you've delved into it.
Yeah.
And now you're a filmmaker.
Yes.
So okay, let's just start with the fact that for me, this is a full circle moment because I remember hearing a wrap up and thinking, that is good. Like he didn't leave nothing out. Like I forgot about that. Oh
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Then I heard, from the wrap up, of course, the 90s Girls Brunch, like that is like one of them experiences. I'm a kid of the 90s, so I'm so happy that
Mhm.
I'm not out of the loop. I'm like, oh yeah, 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 that's it right there. That's it.
Right.
And
Right.
then you're hyped and it's like you're making friends in a chat. Like it's the comments are lit and everybody it's almost like a hug. It's like
Mhm.
when you have that moment of nostalgia and it takes you back and you like, oh no, that was like I remember
Right.
those moments, right?
Right.
And you are on a college campus as a professor. So
Mhm.
you're teaching, like you are such a dynamic person. When you think about all that you've accomplished, where does that take you?
Um, it leads me to, my thing is, and I tell people all the time, like the one common denominator in all of this is music. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like I like teaching, I like DJing, I like writing songs, I like rapping, I like making movies. I love music. You know what I'm saying? So everything that I've done falls under that umbrella. And hip hop being, what attracted me, my main attraction, it made me feel like I could do music. So, for me, the common denominator is music and how it how it changes people's moods and how it affects you and how it, you know, has guided our lives. Up until this point. So yeah, man, I'm a life lived through music is a well lived life.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky to have been able to do some of the things that I've done. But yeah, that common denominator has always been music.
Mad Skillz. I heard you DJ live
Hmm.
for the first time when I was in LA for Grammy week.
Yes.
So I'm at the party and I hear a voice on the mic and I was like, I know you lying. Cause I didn't see the flyer. I didn't know you was gonna be there.
Right.
Like none of that. So I turned around and you hype. I was like, huh? I told my homegirl, I was like, yeah. I was like, I ain't know Skills was gonna be here. I ain't know.
Right.
And
Right.
then you're so approachable and you're just like, I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna see him again. He gonna be at CIAA. I'm going the Art of Noise. I know I'm gonna see him.
Hmm.
Be cool, be cool. It's
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
but let me tell you, like, I am just like to hear that you have. Well, and I think what I love is I've been in radio for 20 years.
Hmm.
And so for you to have withstood the test of time and like the growth and the shift and the ghostwriting and
Hmm.
the podcast before it was a podcast. Like
Yeah.
you have been at the forefront of so many things. And for me, it's really full circle because I was talking to Jimmy from Curators of Hip Hop and the Media
Right.
Rhythm Institute. And I was like, yo, I saw Skills. And he was like, oh, I got something for you. I was like, yo. So,
Yeah.
being that you touch people and you connect people through music, like you really can, like you said, change your mood.
Hmm.
When you started doing 90s Girls Brunch, like what was the thought when you hit record on that phone and you said, all right, let me do what I do?
So, in the year of the pandemic, when we thought, when we thought that this thing was gonna last for 2 weeks, remember? And they were saying, stay in the house for 2 weeks so we can remember flatten the curve. Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm like, okay, 2 weeks, I got enough groceries, and I'm in Los Angeles at the time. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be bored, but I'll be all right. For a creative, I had the studio and I had home. So I'm like, I'm still able to do my thing. I don't,
Yeah.
it's not like my job is saying you can't come in the office for 2 weeks. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I'm home, and I'm watching all these DJs online, and I'm enjoying the
Yeah.
vibes. And and I had already been DJing online anyway. You know what I mean? So I was like, so I started watching all of these DJs, and from throwing parties, I remember thinking, as from a promotional aspect, I was like, nowadays, people like to know exactly what they're getting into before they get there, right?
Yeah.
So no different than if you say, yo, it's an R&B show coming to the Coliseum. I'm like, who coming? You know what I mean? Oh, we got Jodeci, we got Drew Hill, we got, you know what I mean? Da, 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 da. Okay, cool. Y'all got Jodeci, Drew Hill, 90s R&B. I'm coming to that. You know what I mean? Like, what the vibe is. So I noticed that people weren't doing that with like parties. And I had been doing a thing. I did a thing maybe like 4 years before, called Motown on Mondays, where we would just play Motown on a Monday night, right after work vibes. So you knew what you were getting. So I was like, yo, if you're going to DJ online, tell people exactly what it is. And I had a brunch that particular Sunday, and it got canceled because of COVID,
Oh,
right? So I
yeah.
can't DJ that Sunday. And I get online, and I just started playing a bunch of songs like I would have played at a brunch. I had already had my little playlist together and all of that. My Mary, my Total, my Faith, you know what I mean? All my 90s, Tony Braxton, all that. So I did it, and it just went off like without a hitch. And being that we all online and we having to use our imaginations and this, and the third, I started saying stuff like I would be at a brunch. Like, yo, y'all make sure y'all get some more waffles. Who, man, who ate all the crab legs? Y'all wilding. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and everybody in the chat just started going along with it. So I remember getting offline, and I was like, yo, that was dope. And immediately I was like, I threw up maybe a little post video like, yo, yesterday I had fun with y'all. It was so dope. Maybe we should do it again. And people were like, we definitely got to do that again.
Run that back. Run that back.
Run that back. You back on this weekend? Because if you back on this weekend, and I'm here, and it's Monday. So I'm like,
Mm.
every day people like, yo, what's up with Saturday? We back on? Is it back up? And I was like, let me make a little flyer. So I made a little flyer and posted it. And the reaction that it got was like, oh, I'm there. I can't wait. And I was like, this is like a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's turning into
Yeah.
a thing. And then I hopped back on that Saturday, and everybody showed back up. And it turned into a thing that I did for almost 2 years, every weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I accidentally created a family of people through complete strangers.
Yeah.
So I did this every weekend, and we became closer. We became closer, and we started doing other things outside of the brunches. And then, fast forward to a year and a half later, 8 months later, the world starts opening back up.
Yep.
And and people were always like, yo, I can't wait till we can do this in person. This would be so dope if we would really meet. And then one day I just said, yo, we gonna meet. And I gave them like a 6 month heads up. Like
Okay.
you had time to plan it. And
Yeah.
when everybody came to meet, I had a camera crew come film it. And
Gotcha.
it was like a family reunion of people that never met, mostly women. And
Yeah.
I had never seen, it was like I accidentally created a sorority almost. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like sisters. Like it's like a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And this film is about that journey and how it started, what happened during the journey, and what has happened since we've met, and how we're still connected in ways that we've never thought we could be. And the common denominator for all of that is music.
You know, when you talk about like the world opening up and that shift happening, I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people were was excited to get back out, but was like, I need that same experience, that same community. I need my people to
Yeah.
just be outside.
Right. Because everybody wasn't, they like, all right, it was like the new iPhone. It was like, I'm gonna let y'all try it out first. Then
Mm-hmm,
y'all let us,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get the second wave. I'll wait till, and it was a lot of confusion and COVID tests and how many
Yes.
people could be in one place at one
Yeah.
time and still social distancing. It was weird.
Yeah.
Mask, what I mean? It wasn't normal. And we had left normalcy and we were trying to find our way. But in the midst of playing these songs and creating this space, it became different than any other DJ online.
What has the 90s meant to you?
First of all, I love 80s music, right? I'm an 80s music baby because there's so many memories that are attached to it. But the
Uh-huh.
90s was when I was outside. I was active. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I was literally, in these places and seeing these things happen in full-fledged. Biggie coming out and, pretty much single-handedly resurrecting the East Coast hip hop and, Tupac and not even so much as like the rap scene, because I was a rapper, but, we were enamored at all of the other superstars that had made their way into that decade. Janet Jackson and Usher, and you know what I'm saying, people who
Yeah.
started around there, even though Janet started earlier.
Yeah.
You get 89 going into like 94, man, like that musically.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so crazy is we still hear those songs to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So as a DJ, and it's funny that you mentioned like when you saw me, you was like, "Yo, I ain't see his name on the flyer. I ain't know he was gonna be here." Yo, so it's like to get that comes from a person seeing you at your job and knowing that they about to have a good time is probably one of the best compliments you could ever have as a DJ. Because as
Yeah.
a DJ, I tell people all the time, as a DJ, it's a job that gives you instant satisfaction. You know if you're doing well or if you're whack immediately.
Yes.
So if I play a song and everybody stop dancing and go get a drink and they chill out, I need to switch immediately.
Mm-hmm.
If I play a
Yep.
song and everybody runs to the dance floor, oh, I know I'm doing a good job, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I try to connect people with a moment with
Mm-hmm.
attached with the music, right? So if you out and you with your it's homecoming and you with your roommate from homecoming and I play a song that y'all
Mm-hmm.
used to listen to in y'all dorm or y'all was banging out in the yard, you automatically connect me with that moment. So that's how you see a person and go, yo, I know I'm gonna have a good time because he here or she here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So being able to connect moments with music helps you in your DJ journey and how far along you can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, you are so multifaceted. And I guess what is the difference between you on live as the DJ and we're coming to you. But you're live in the club and we're experiencing you. You as a professor, like how do all of those go together? Because I couldn't be in a class with you and not be like, so you're not gonna rap?
Right.
So you're not gonna tell us some secrets? I mean, I just
Right.
want to know who's the real Bonita Applebaum? Because you was there. Like,
Right.
I need to know
Right.
these answers.
Right. Well, when I'm DJing online as opposed to when I'm DJing on, in a live setting, it's the same. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like I'm a talk. The music gonna be right. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make
Yeah.
sure that you have a good time, even though I can't even see you. I don't, I
Yeah.
can, but it's almost like DJing on the radio. Like I don't even know if you really in your car rocking, but I would hope that you are if I continue to do what I do.
Yeah.
So in a classroom setting, yeah, I'm a little different. It's not music playing. It's not, what I mean? It's
I
work
just feel
being
like when
done.
I walk in, there's definitely some music playing.
Sometimes in a lesson we might go through, we might play some things or some samples of some things, but a lot of times they listen to, they in order to take the class, you got to have a Spotify or a YouTube account somewhere where you can get to the music,
Yeah.
which most of the is no way most all of these kids have at some point. So yeah, but yeah, in the classroom setting, I am a little different. And I am an instructor. I am I know I'm spearheading this thing, but it's also a joint effort between me and my students as well.
Do they know who you are?
Yeah, yeah, some of
Like
them
for
do.
real?
Some of them do, and then some of them don't. To some of them,
Really?
I'm just the cool, gray bearded professor at the school. Like, but all of this information is available, and they can go look it up. And
Yeah.
even after BET, I had a couple former students like, hit me on the email like, "Yo, Mr. Lewis, that was amazing." And I'm like, "Well, thank you." You know what I mean? I'm still active. I still know how to do what I do.
You definitely are doing what you do. You know, one of the things that is exciting because you have not been a gatekeeper to keep out people that look up to you or that are coming behind you. You know, you have embraced the culture all the way around. Even if you don't love everything about what's happening in music, you've embraced it. And I think that's what's so refreshing about your events and about your documentary with the 90s Girl Brunches because it gives us that nostalgic piece. It brings us to what's happening currently. When did you know that you were like, I need to expand this? I need to bring in a camera team. Like, this is something that has to be documented outside of just my iPhone.
After seeing, after I knew about 3 months in that it was a story there.
Ah,
About 3 months into it, I was like, man, this is like this needs to be like it needs to be documented to where we can go back and look at this. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing these people and I'm talking to these people and we have this connection and we have these inside jokes and we have a rapport with each other that we didn't have before this started. So
yeah,
people might have known me, they might have followed me as I'm following Mad Skillz on Instagram. He funny, he cool, whatever. He hip hop. I like his wrap ups, whatever. But you get to see a peek into my life. But
yeah,
to log on to these broadcasts and just hang out for 2 hours, I was just providing music. It was other people that you were vibing out with and connecting with, and it was people in there talking like they were having whole conversations outside of
yes,
this. Like,
yeah,
girl, I gotta hit you offline, tell you what happened at work. They really tried it this week, girl. Like, so they really talking like they had
yeah.
like they at the nail salon or something. So, I knew 3 months into it that it was something special and that it needed to be documented.
Did you, when you're mixing and you realizing that the ladies are really connecting, do you start to think I want to specifically cater to the ladies with the music, or is it just, all right, let me just curate the vibe and whoever show up, show up? Because I think it's something different when a man is like, I've tapped into something with this. And it's specifically as a woman, you're like, oh yeah, yeah, that's for me right there.
Mhm. I knew exactly what I was doing
Okay.
because for me, and that's the first rule of thumb for me at a party.
Yeah.
If the women ain't having a good time, it ain't a good party. Period.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like the guys are going to do they're gonna follow the women's lead. So
Yeah.
if the women on the dance floor and it's a couple people with their crew or with their girls, if dudes see them having a good time, it's easy to have a good time. So when I came online, it was strategic. It's all about them. And they knew exactly what they were gonna hear.
Yeah.
And that's a plethora of music that I can go into. And it wasn't just always 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But some because I like I said, I did it every weekend, but they like hip hop too.
Hmm.
And then when I started doing the brunch after darks, which would be like Wednesday, I
Yeah.
would do a brunch after dark on like a Wednesday night, and this is all slow jams. Like, man, listen, it was so crazy because it's the same people, but they acting and talking totally different based on
Yeah.
what they're hearing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm playing something and they like, girl, this remind me of Curly Head Jamal from Life. Man, listen, Curly Head Jamal, he had all the girls in the 12th grade. This was he listen, I played this on his voicemail. Like, and these are the songs that I'm playing. And like I said, it's
Yeah.
always triggering memories. So Brunch After Dark, and we talk about that in the documentary as well. Brunch After Dark was its own entity by itself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Of the talking heads, the men, the women that you chose to be a part of the documentary, how did that piece come about? Like piecing it together to be like, all right, this person has to be a part of the documentary because you met so many people
Mhm.
and so many people know you, but how did that piece come together?
First of all, I lied to them and I told them somebody was making a documentary about us.
Oh,
Right. So I lied to
yeah,
them and I was like, yo, man, like if y'all want to be a part of it, we doing Zoom interviews. Because we still inside. I can't
yeah,
physically come. So I'm like, we doing Zoom interviews, and it's nothing to get somebody on a Zoom interview, answer 5 or 6 questions. And I would do them periodically, do 2, 3 a day, and I was just stacking them, just putting them on a hard drive, just stacking them.
yeah,
So, some of the people, they kept lollygagging. They was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try skills." Some people like, "I don't want to be on camera skills." So those are the people that, if they didn't want to be on camera, they didn't want to be involved in a facial recognition way. I would include some of their tweets or some of their comments or some of their
yeah,
Instagram comments or Twitch comments. So everybody was a part of it. And once I started stacking up all of this content because I already had the ending. The ending was us meeting in person, so I just
yeah,
needed to fill in the blanks. And yeah,
yeah,
they were listen, man, they were sweethearts and lovely about it. And then once the world opened up, and they would just come to stuff. And they would hit me like, "Yo, 12 of us, we coming to the Roots picnic,
yeah,
or we going to Atlanta to so and so." And I would be there, and I would be like, "You know what? What y'all doing? I know the party Friday night when y'all leave. What y'all doing Saturday morning?" They be like, "Oh, we chilling. We might go to breakfast." I'm like, "Yo, 10 o'clock Saturday morning, let me borrow y'all for like an hour." And I would
yeah,
set up cameras and then come get real interviews,
yeah,
on site, mic'd up and all that. And I kept stacking. And then once I looked at everything that I had, I was like, "You got it. Now you just got to play Tetris and put it together."
yeah. It's interesting because, when I think about how you have influenced a lot of people, you have met a lot of people. Who would you consider your wise counsel? So like as you're putting this together and as you're shopping ideas for how you want to arrange this, and I know like for me, I got my people, it's like, yeah, I got something that's
Right.
like special. This is different. Who's your wise counsel and what are they saying to you as you are going through this process?
I'm sending the movie to people like Questlove and Black Thought of the Roots. My friends who are in Questlove's an
Yeah.
Oscar winner now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and these things have happened since I started this journey. I sent it to Chris Robinson, Baltimore native, one of my good
Yeah.
friends, director of ATL in the New Edition story. So I sent it to him, and I sent it to James Samuel, who did a Book of Clarence. So all these
Hmm.
people that I'm like, y'all do this for real. Like I'm not saying I'm not doing it for real, but I ain't doing it at the level that y'all. I ain't had no budget. I don't have. I did all this on my own, and I'm
Yeah.
showing it to them, and they're like, "Skills, this is super impressive, man. Like, and you did all of this," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they like, wow, like, so of course connecting me with other people and, music supervisors as far as trying to help me figure out how much this would cost if I wanted to put this out and, clear this music because the story can't be told without the music.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? The music, and I even did a cut where I took out a lot of songs and had the homies like, yo, I need you to make something that sound like "Be
Oh,
Happy" by Mary J.
yeah.
Blige, but it just didn't hit the same. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, the music stays because the music is really the star of the movie. We're just the supporting cast. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my wise counsel was those people, and they definitely guided me in a way that I needed at the time and I'm thankful for their support and guidance for sure.
Was this the music, not music selection, but clearing the music, and was that the biggest challenge for you, or was something else considered an obstacle?
The biggest challenge was I never made a movie. So, um, but I knew that I knew how to tell a story, right?
Yes, you do.
I know how to tell a story. So in my mind, I got a hard drive and this is 2 terabytes of interviews and footage and broadcast and little clips that people sent me and I saved them and, kept them. So I remember starting this process and for the first like month, I would wake up every day, like for a month. I wake up every day and I work from 9 to 5, right? Like a job.
Yeah.
And because I given the footage to a guy and he tried to put together a little teaser trailer or whatever. And once I looked at it, I was like, okay, it's not gonna work because he don't know the story. Like you're the only person that was there at every brunch.
Yeah.
So you got to tell the story. And I'm like, but I never made a movie. I'm like, but shit, I know how to make an Instagram video. I know how to make a
Okay.
YouTube video. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, you gonna have to just sit down and make a long ass Instagram video. So for the first month, I was very depressed, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm sitting down and I'm making this thing, and I will work, Nori, I would work from 9 to 5 for like 3 days, 4 days, and I would look at what I got done, and I'm like, yo, you have 14 seconds done. Did like this is gonna take forever. And then I started working more. I'm like, okay, you had 2 minutes. This feels good. This feels like an opening of a movie. This all right, keep going. And I look up, I'm like, all right, you got 5 minutes. But I'm like, damn, I've been working at this for 2 weeks and I got 5 minutes. So I just read a Will Smith. I just read Will Smith's book.
So good.
And I kept going back to the part where his father and him and his father and his brother were working on the wall, the brick
Yep.
wall. And
Yep.
his daddy said, stop worrying about the wall. Just focus on the brick. Just keep laying bricks. And sooner or later, you're gonna have a wall. But you
Yeah.
worry about the whole thing, that's gonna have you messed up. So then a month, Nori, a month into it, I finally had the beginning. And then I started pulling the interviews because I was so sick of seeing my face and hearing my
Oh,
voice. Because I'm like, bro, you can't tell this. And then once I got to them,
yeah.
it's like I almost got a second win because
Yeah.
the story was still getting told, but it wasn't getting told by me anymore. And
Yeah.
once I hit that curve, once I hit second base, the rest of it didn't take me no time. And I might have finished it in like 2.5 months. And
Really?
yeah, and this is just the editing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. So when I give this to somebody, they like, oh, Skills, you got your sound is over here, and the voices, and like, oh my God,
Yep.
this is
Yep.
now we gotta organize this shit. So then we
Hmm.
organized it, and once we got it down, I started showing it to close family and friends, and they were like, okay, this is pretty dope. And I'm like, really? Y'all telling me that because we fam, or y'all telling me that because it's like no, like Skills, this is good, man. I think you got something here. And it's a roller coaster. It's an
Yeah.
emotional roller coaster to watch it. But my dream, and I've always said this, my dream for this is for the women of the brunch. I want them to be out at Target and somebody stop them and go, hey, ain't you that girl from the 90s girl? You know what I mean? Like I want them, I know what that feels like, but I want
Mhm.
that for them for their story to be told because a place where women of all colors, black, white, brown, came and they felt safe enough to be themselves and to be seen and to be heard and the umbrella of that was music and having a good time, but it just didn't stop there. It's stories
Yeah.
about these women and things that they went through during this time that I had no clue was happening in their lives.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But to find out these things later, I'm like, yo, I just thought I was just getting online DJing, but I was really helping these women in a way that
Yeah.
I had no clue. So that is the saving grace and the silver lining for me to know that I helped somebody in a way that it came right along at the time that they needed it.
I think, you touched on something because during the time that you were DJing and virtually showing up for all of the people, right? And then on the back end, when you're putting the documentary together, and now you're like, okay, this work is not what I thought it was going to be, and I don't know what
Mhm.
I'm doing. I think that part is so important because when it get hard, sometimes music is the go-to. Like
Mhm.
when it's
Yes.
hard, it's like it Skillz DJing because I need a break because my life is
Right.
life for me right now.
Right. I need a
So
moment.
yeah, I think it's so interesting just kind of how life goes in that cycle. Because what did you do when you needed to pause or needed to break as the curator of music? Like how does that work for you when you have those mental moments where it felt a little heavier than you just being able to DJ?
I I retreated and I would go back and look at I would go back and look at the brunches. You know what I'm saying? Some of the broadcasts, and I would go back because I had a whole folder in my Instagram, like my Instagram archive. I had a whole folder of just like brunch stuff.
Yeah.
And I would go back and look at those comments from those people and those little moments of where they might have been out, in their backyard with their kids and they had the Bluetooth on, you know what I'm saying, or driving to the store with their husband and kind of just kicking it in the car. And it became such a integral part of their lives that I knew I couldn't give up on it. You know what I'm saying? And I knew for a while they would be like, man, because I told them, I said, yo, man, like the movie coming along, and then they wouldn't hear nothing else. You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
months. And so I think at times they would probably be like, man, ain't no movie coming, da 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 da. And then one day I just dropped a trailer on their ass, like boom. And they was like, oh shit. Like this looks amazing. And I was like, I told y'all, like it wasn't easy. It didn't happen overnight, but it's
Yeah.
happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good things come to those who wait. And for them to be able to share it and say, look, y'all, I'm in a movie, y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all this 90s girl brunch thing was real. Y'all thought it was like we about to be the world about to see what happened with us and how we are. And then I
Yeah.
started having screenings just for them. And they would show up and when they saw themselves, you know what I'm saying? Because I would usually get like a little GoPro and put the GoPro like down there by where the screen was. So I would film them watching the movie for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah, so I could, and just as research, okay, what part was funny? What did the funny part hit like I thought it would, or did it fall flat? Like da 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 da. And I started to see, how it warmed their souls to see themselves, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, in a way that they're happy about how they're represented in their stories and to give me that control to sit down and say, like, I'll do the Zoom interview, whatever you need, Skills. Like I'll share it. You know what I mean? I'll let my family know about it. Like, so, like I said, they don't realize how much they helped me. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
So we in turn helped each other at a time when
Yeah.
we all needed it.
It's amazing because you coming to the Media Rhythm Institute is a big deal. It's a big deal for so many reasons, but for one, because we have youth that are there that are going through a lot of things, a lot of outside influences. So I'm sure when you do the Q&A and when you talk about this film in a way of how it affected you personally and how
Mhm.
it affected, the participants and just the people that showed up and had a good time, positively, that does something because we're all going through things. And so you being there as a writer, as someone who has really diversified your portfolio, your income, your persona,
Mhm.
in this industry that like so many people strive to be a part of, like
Mhm.
that is a big deal. So we are happy. You got family in Baltimore though, right?
Yes, I spend every holiday in Baltimore. Walbrook Junction, right at the top of North Avenue. I did
So,
I've been through Mondawmin many a day.
woo child, Mondo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I've been through Mondawmin from then till now.
So I'm sure your stories are gonna resonate so much with adults and children alike in that space. And you may have some people that run up on you like, no, I don't see you around the way.
Right,
So
right.
so I just think it's amazing that you really are global out here and that you have never stopped growing. Like this film is just also a testament of how you continue to grow and you stretched yourself in a
Hmm.
way that was very uncomfortable. Like sitting here, I am just like, man, I really needed to hear that. Like I really,
Right.
you got some stuff in the pipeline, and this is like, all right, I gotta keep going. I gotta do better. I gotta be
Yeah.
consistent. Okay, he showed up from 9 to 5 on his own project. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just I just think that is so amazing. For you, what was the dopest encounter of someone that went from being in the comments to showing up in person at the brunch?
Probably one of the dopest moments, and I don't want to because I don't want to spoil it
Oh,
for
you
you
want to
because
spoil it?
I want you to see it. But probably one of the dopest moments. I'll go to another one was the way that they still are connected. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? The way they still hook up for girls trips and still go to festivals and you know what I mean? Like and this ain't in the movie because it just happened, but one of them her daughter is in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her daughter's in Atlanta, she's in Maryland, her oldest daughter's in Atlanta. And she has about 7 or 8 other members that are in Atlanta and her daughter had was pregnant and was they were about to induce the labor or something and she was trying to hurry up and get down there and the other girls was like yeah we got her she good like we at the house you know what I mean like
Yeah.
giving her updates and you know what I'm saying and they like yo if you're not
Wow.
gonna get here till in the morning we'll be here tonight you know what I'm saying so I think like 3 of them stayed with her daughter um and then when she got down there, the baby was born, and when she hit me in the DM because they still just talk to me in the DM like it's my phone number and shit. She hit
Yes.
me, she hit me in the DM like Skillz. I'm so thankful for my tribe, man. And I would have never met these women without the brunch. And man, like, listen, I don't know if you really know the impact that you had and how it's this we still showing up. It's 2023 and we still showing up for each other. Like you gave me friends that really ride for me.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you talk about somebody child, that's real, like that's close. And for somebody to be like, yo, we got it.
Yeah.
Like get here when you get here, but don't worry. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? She in good hands. So to know that
Yeah.
and have that stuff like that, man. I was laying in the bed. I just remember just looking at my phone, and I laid my phone on my chest for a second and just was like, wow, like this is really, it's really a thing. And I'm just glad that I was the vessel to help her get to that place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing, man.
Do you realize that you are Black history? Like you are Black history. How does that impact you?
You know what? I don't. I don't. I know I am, but I always tell people this too. When you in the midst of creating history, you don't really know that you create.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like when we look back at people like, I always pull Barry Gordy and say, when he was making the history of Motown, he basically was like, listen, man, I want to put out acts the way, the same way that Ford do cars. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? I want to have an assembly line. I want to have people that they work on your styling, they work on your choreography, they work on your vocals, and then we put these things into the world. And I want music that white people and black people gonna like. Like he had no clue that it would
Okay.
turn into Motown.
Yeah.
He just wanted. He had $800, and he took a dream and said, "I'm a write. I know I can write songs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the best songwriters, the best choreographers." And look what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes it takes other people in your corner that will believe when you don't even believe. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So
yeah.
like Suzanne DePass coming to him saying, "Listen, it's these little boys it's these kids from Indiana. Listen," and he like, "I don't do kids. I'm not about to do no kids." And she like, "If you were ever going to do a kid group, these are the boys." And he
Yeah.
like, "You sure, Suzanne?" And she's like, "I'll bet the house on it. I'm
Yeah.
sure." So
Yeah.
with that information, he said, "All right, I'll take it." And then look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Right? A name that is synonymous with black music for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
don't. I don't care who come out and they let. If your last name is Jackson or DeBarge, you
Right.
automatically getting a listen.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
just listening to the people that are around you and to hold you up when you might be like, "Oh, I don't know, y'all." And they like, "No, no, no. Let's you should listen. Listen, this
Yeah.
is what I mean? To take that leap. And that's from having great people around you as well. And
Yeah.
they were around me and they were great as well.
It really is like that iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited. This documentary is coming out, but I just feel like because I just know you got so much stuff. Like I know you have so many, like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like this is the beginning of something that's going to be even bigger, even doper. Um, in the way that you tell stories, I'm so excited to see it in this film
Mm-hmm.
space.
Yeah.
um because I've been a fan of you, doing recaps and a wrap up and just your interviews and like there's just the little nuggets that you be dropping on social media. It's just like, what? You lived that? You experienced that? Wow, you were there? Like, I don't think artists really understand like the art of hanging out in the lobby. That was a real thing back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yes.
And like, but we didn't go into it like I'm about to go network. It really was like,
Right. Right. It just happens.
yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
just
And sometimes, I've told people, that saying of, people always say, well, when opportunity knocks, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to be ready. And I'm like,
mm-hmm.
well, shit, sometimes you gotta move closer to the door.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So, because the opportunity might not knock where you at, but
Yeah,
if you move closer to the door, it might knock. You know what I'm saying? So that was the thing that, when I was early in the songwriting, you know, I'm writing these amazing songs and I'm like, the person that I need to hear these songs to get these songs, they not here. They're not in Virginia. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So how much time can I spend away from here, hoping that, what I mean, I'll be in a space where, it is. And, so to go to New York or to go to LA, you with the right person, da, 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 and they're like, yo, man, y'all got any songs, so and so working next door. And you're like, oh, they are? Hell yeah, I got some songs. songs I wrote 2 years ago in Virginia. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
so, even to get that play, um, it's just a a a willingness to be in a separate place. And I know sometimes people might be at different places in their lives and they might not be able to see it. Like I was just telling a friend of mine the other day, like he writes amazing songs and he had got discouraged and this and the third.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I said, you really don't realize how close you are. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? A lot of people stop and they two strokes away from touching the wall on the, you know what I mean, on the side of
Hmm.
the pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
just don't know because you ain't had your eyes open. You know what I mean? But just put your head down, keep working, man. Because I'm a firm believer, and this is I believe this till they put me in the grave that if you work hard enough to get what it is that you want or to obtain something that you want, you will get it.
Hmm.
But when you get it, just don't forget how bad you wanted it when you get it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's the thing, man. I like you'll get it if it's in your sight and you keep your head down and you want it, you will get it. But when you get it, just don't forget how bad you wanted it. Because a lot of people do that.
Yeah. So much to sit with, man. Like,
I mean, I hope to drop a gem every now and then.
yeah, like, but you really you always do. I'm excited. I can keep talking to you because I'm over here like I'm in awe. But coming up on March the 1st from 6 until 9, you will be
Yes.
in the building at the Media Rhythm Institute. It's 20 North Howard Street. It's right
Mhm.
downtown Baltimore. It's a beautiful space. I'm gonna be there. I'm excited to be there. CIAA weekend. You're gonna be doing a few different things. You moving around the city, so
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna see you out. Shout out to everybody at FanFest. Art of Noise is going to be there. They have like all these vendors. It's a really incredible experience. I'll be hosting the cheer competition.
Hey,
So, I'm excited because anytime I get to see somebody that I really appreciate their craft, get on the mic and curate an audience, I'm a student because that is what I enjoy doing. And so, like you said, when you DJing at a radio station, you putting out the vibes and you don't
mhm.
know how it's going to impact the people driving or riding or whatever they're doing on the train. And so this documentary is that as well. You have impacted lives and you're showcasing that, and you don't know what that wide net that you're casting is going to look like. But are you going to be producing other films? Absolutely. Are you going to be
Yes.
asked to consult and to come on as a, I don't know, director or something? Like, yeah, because you've done it and you went through the trenches to get it done and
Mhm.
nobody held your hand. And I am so proud of you. And I am
Thank you
so
so much.
excited
I
of
appreciate it.
of the work that you're doing because, a girl from Tennessee that moved to DC and did radio here and there is a fan of your work.
Thank you
And
so much.
so you're continuing to impact people. I know the people that come out to the Media Rhythm Institute is going to be blessed by your documentary and the Q&A and just the whole experience. What do you want to say to people that are like, you know, I missed it. I didn't know you were doing this. You have a documentary. What's going on?
Yeah.
What do you say to those people?
I know I've been doing screenings for about a good 6 months, trying to get into film festivals and things of that nature. I would say in the next couple of months, the movie will be in a place where everybody will have access to look at it and see it. And whether you 8 to 80, 4 years old, 80 years old, um, the movie will be in a place where people will be able to experience it and share it with
Mm-hmm.
their friends. I'm looking forward to finally letting that out to the world.
Yeah.
And then, moving on to the next project. But yeah, it's coming. If you haven't caught it yet and you might not be able to catch it in Baltimore, DC, within 2 months, it'll be in a place where everybody can enjoy it.
All right. How do we continue to stay connected with you and follow you on social media? Where you at? Where you at?
Oh, it's Skills VA on everything. That's Skillz VA, Skills VA on everything. And if you coming along for the ride, man, listen, it's a wild ride. It's a lot of like 1 minute is this, 1 minute is that. You might learn something, you might laugh, but it's always gonna be a good time.
Absolutely going to be a good time. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. The Media Rhythm Institute is so excited to have you, curators of hip hop, and just the whole squad, man. We out here and we putting on for the youth, and then just a fan of the culture. And you are definitely walking, living legacy and legend. So thank you so much for all that you bring to the culture. You are appreciated. Any last things that you want to say before we get up out of here?
Nah, I will see y'all. Hopefully I'll see y'all in Baltimore. If you can't catch Baltimore, then catch DC. And like I said, follow me on everything for updates of where we're gonna be and how we're gonna be doing it. And CIAA, we're looking forward to that too. It should be fun.
It's going to be a good time.
Yes, ma'am.